Hey, fifth grade, if you're watching this video, then you are ready to begin revising and creating your second draft of your memoir. So you've worked really hard and you composed your memory in sentences and paragraphs, and it's all waiting in that first draft document. So that's what we're going to do first. We're going to go open that document. And if you'll remember, I coded it with a number 2. So you can find it easily over here. And remember, you can also hover over the document so that you can get to it if it's not even showing you that much. Okay, so we're going to click here. We're going to bring up the draft that we created in the prior step. And if you'll remember, I created a silly draft just showing you how to format. Okay, so we're going to have that open in one of these tabs, and then we're going to actually go back to the assignment, and we're going to find the doc that has a 3. And when we hover over it, it says Draft 2 Revising Memoir Number 1. So we're going to click on that and open it in another window. So you can see that it says select all of your text from Draft 1. Guys, I don't want you to select the direction text, okay? So you're just going to select all of your text that you created in your memoir. Using your mouse and copy and paste it into this document. So we're going to do that right now. I'm going to move my face out of the way. So we're going to click over here to Draft 1. And then I'm going to use my mouse and I'm going to select all of this. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can go up to the Edit menu and you can say Copy. Although sometimes we find that it doesn't work, okay? Or you can come over to this highlighted text with your mouse pointer, okay? You have to put the pointer on the text, and then with 2 fingers spread apart like this, tap on your mouse pad. Once you do that, then this menu comes up and you can select Copy, okay? Then you're going to go to Draft 2. We're going to click below the directions and hit Enter, and then we're going to paste in our Draft 1 into this document. We're going to do that the same way we just did that. We're going to use 2 fingers spread apart. We're going to tap our mouse pad. And then this document or this menu comes up and I can say Paste. And you can see that I moved my cursor when I did that. So I'm going to hit Enter, and then I'm going to have to hit Tab because when I pasted it in, I messed it up. Again, you could also come down here and click Paste. But again, sometimes for some reason, it doesn't always work when we go through the menus. So there's 2 options. Hopefully one of those works for you. If not, reach out and let me know. We can do a Google Meet or do whatever we need to do to figure that out. All right, so now once you have your Draft 1 pasted in here, we've got to really roll up our sleeves and go into it with a critic's eye. We need to read this aloud to ourselves. We need to see if there are any awkward things that need rearranged, or maybe the repetition isn't working, it's not effective. Think about those qualities of effective and ineffective memoirs here when you're going back through this. What I should not find is that your Draft 1 and your Draft 2 are identical. I also shouldn't find that you changed like 2 things in your Draft 2 from your Draft 1. Draft 2 should be a lot better than Draft 1. Because remember, Draft 1 was just your first try. If we were good enough to get it right our first try, we wouldn't have to do it a second and a third time. And even the professionals have to do it a second and a third time. And actually, if you talk to any of them, they'll probably tell you they do it many, many more times than that. And they just keep going back into it, making it better and better and better until they're satisfied with the way that it reads, the way that it looks on the page, the way that it moves the story forward. Okay, So when you read this memoir, your first draft, and you're going back in and revising, remember this memoir is actually your story, and it should read like a story. It's nonfiction, but we want it to read like the novels that we've been reading. We want it to read like it's a piece of fiction. And so we don't want to be boring, and we want to make sure that we include all of those things that bring a good piece of literature to life for the reader. And again, you can go back to page 23 in your ELA reference folder, where we listed the qualities and qualities of ineffective and effective memoirs. And the reason that we started with that is so that when you got to this point, when you got to where you could revise your first draft, that you would have some tools to go back and use and look for. So that's really it. Just pay attention to these instructions. Go back in. You don't have to track any changes. You just need to go in and make everything exactly the way you want it to be. So if you read it, or if you have someone else read it and it doesn't come to life for them, then you need to go back in and put the things in there that will do that for them. Also, I had a few kiddos the last time when we were working with our free verse poems. They would delete something or something would disappear and they would absolutely freak out. Don't worry if that happens. Don't close out of the document, because it does make it a little more difficult sometimes. But you have these buttons over here, undo and redo. Those are like lifesavers for me. So like if you accidentally delete something or something goes somewhere you didn't want it, come up here and click undo. Sometimes you have to click undo several times before it comes back, but click one at a time, wait and see what happens, then click again, okay? Also, if something really crazy happens and you have no idea what happened to it or it disappeared, we can always go into what we call a version history. And I got there by looking at File. I went over here to version history, and we would say see version history. And then this really cool thing happens. It comes up with all the times you've gone into your file and all the changes that you've made. You can see that I actually created this document and assigned it to everyone on January 22nd at 5:25 p.m. So that was it in its original state. But then today at 4:16 p.m., I went in and I pasted some stuff in. And so it's showing you, like if I click on this version, this is highlighted because this is the part that I added. Okay. If I click here, it's going to only show this part because this part wasn't there when it was originally created. So just a little quick tip. Don't stress if going to, by the way, you don't want to delete any of those. You just click back to today, and then you come back to your original document. But if either of those methods doesn't work to help you get back what you need, just let me know, and I can do a Google Meet if we're in distance learning or if we don't happen to be at school, or obviously if we're at school, I can just come help you with it. All right, guys, I can't wait to see all the revisions and changes you go in and enact in your first draft, and turn it into a second draft, which is going to be so much better. Love and miss you guys, and let me know if you need anything.